like Daniel Jones has been able to play like as a quarterback. It's not just been the passing portion of it. I'll get to that in just a second, but it's also been like the rushing component to his game. Like Brian Daboll, I mean, that coaching staff has been able to whip up at least an efficient game plan, like for Daniel Jones on a weekly basis. Like now, it's mostly been on the back of Saquon Barkley, and hopefully he can stay healthy for the remainder of the season. But really, like Daniel Jones has been able to be an efficient fantasy quarterback when he's been efficient on the ground, which is, I don't want to say it's like counterintuitive, but I think a lot of folks would associate, well, if he just runs more, right? It almost like the same thing with Justin Fields, where if he has more, either like if he scrambles more often or if he has more design rushing attempts, like then we'll see better production out of him. And that's not necessarily the case, or at least not with Daniel Jones, because he doesn't have the same athleticism as Justin Fields does. He can't take a 60-yard, 60-yard like rush like to the house or anything like that. He needs to be efficient on the ground. He needs to be capable of moving the ball or matriculate the ball down the field so that they can get the ball in scoring position. So actually, like over half of Daniel Jones' like good fantasy performances so far, let's say like 15 points or more, have come when he's at least had efficient days like on the ground. Could be small like on the yardage portion of it, but just in terms of expected points added or EPA per rush, he's had like better days, like these better fantasy performances during that. So if we're looking at like their upcoming opponents, against the Lions, everybody knows you can score on the Lions, but they also allowed a number of like at least promising or at least positive rushing performances as well. I mean, they've been like top 10 in EPA per play on offense, like against, and now they go up against the Lions. So I think with all that being said, I mean, the only quarterbacks to face the Lions and not wind up in the top 12 were Aaron Rodgers when he threw those 3 picks, Dak Prescott when he was coming off injury, and Bailey Zappi. I mean, those are the only 3 quarterbacks like so far throughout the entire season. So with a 25, I think they're 25, like 25 and a half, 26 point total right now for the Giants. I mean, Daniel Jones should definitely be the guy that you can pick up off your waiver wire and start like in week 11.